Hello there, friends. So in Keir Starmer's Britain, we're under a constant threat of mass surveillance and mass persecution. We see it everywhere all of the time. On the podcast itself, only a few weeks ago, I had Callum from Epping, who had been organising some of the protests outside of the hotel there that had been housing migrants, who was arrested only a few days before I had him on the podcast for his activities in organising the protests, or at least partially. And that's an ongoing case. I can't say exactly why it was that he was arrested. Either way, that's neither here nor there. We are constantly living under this threat and under this fear of our persecution. And over the past day or two, there have been a number of arrests which have only gone on to further alarm people who are right-wing or otherwise dissident against the regime that we have in place here. And it becomes particularly worrying now that we see that Labour are going to be rolling out these digital IDs, which many rightfully fear will be used to further stigmatise people and restrict their ability to express themselves and express their views. So the first person that I would like to highlight that this has happened to is Steve Laws. Now, I know Steve, he's a really great guy, but I can't say exactly why he was arrested. The only personal statement that he's posted about it regarding this on his Twitter account was stating that he was arrested a couple of days ago for an alleged post on X. I have strict bail conditions and can't actually post or discuss anything related to the case. I'm currently under investigation and will update you all with more information as and when I can. Again, I don't really know any of the details surrounding this either. I know as much as you do. He says here that he can't discuss anything related to the case, but we all suspect that this is something to do with persecution. Steve Laws, whatever you may make of him, he is very outspoken. He does not compromise in the messaging that he puts out there, and as such, I and many others suspect that this has been something that has been done to target him and potentially to put a chilling effect on people expressing anti-immigration, anti-government perspectives. They don't want people going out there and protesting. They don't want people going out there and speaking their minds and potentially offering solutions to the problem that the government have forced upon us that are outside of what the government wants to use to solve them. It's become very clear with the digital IDs that one of the major reasons that the government, both Tories and Labour, have avoided actually dealing with the illegal boat people problem, which is only one of many problems that this country faces related to immigration, is so that they would have an excuse to implement this digital ID because they have created the problem. Now they are offering the solution. Were there many other solutions offered that would have been far more effective? Absolutely, but that wasn't the point. The ultimate point of it was to get digital IDs put through. Furthermore, the other person that this has happened to was Pete North, otherwise known as Northern Variant on Twitter. Another very contentious figure, but I think we have to all accept here that no matter your thoughts on however contentious some of these people might be, or some of their associations with groups that you may not find particularly palatable, we all have to accept that we are on the same side of this fight. Neither Steve Laws nor Pete North want us to be replaced in our own homelands. They do not want to see the continued mass immigration. Both of them have tried to offer solutions of how to reverse the demographic shifts that England has been experiencing. Whatever you think of their solutions, whatever you think of their use of rhetoric, this is not something that we should be supporting. Pete North, just last night at the time of recording this video, was visited by North Yorkshire police and what he calls their hate crime snatch squad to take him in for tweeting an F Hamas meme. And this was a meme that he posted almost 2 months ago now, on the 5th of August. I believe he said it was this one. So back in, on the 5th of August, he posted this: F Palestine, F Hamas, F Islam, want to protest, F off to a Muslim country and protest. Now that is me simply reporting on that. Given the obvious consequences for supporting such a statement, I will neither confirm nor deny any feelings that you might think I have regarding this meme that's right here. And he went on to report some of his experiences having been arrested and taken to a police station almost an hour away at 9:30 at night. He says that when he got to the police station, it wasn't a casual interview. They rocked up around 10 p.m. to arrest me for this meme, put me in detention cells for hours. They dragged me out of my home in front of my missus and put me in the back of a snatch wagon while he was, no surprise to anybody, Pete North is massively autistic. I'm surprised that they didn't arrest him for crimes against the Twitter character limit, but again, I do not support people arresting him for posting a meme, which is demonstrating negative views towards an organization that I believe our very own government have proscribed as a terrorist organization. So there are a number of contradictions here. The only logical through line with this and Steve is that these are people who are dissidents, they are against the regime, they are outspoken, and also potentially influential. They could present a problem in the future if they were able to gather some momentum and gather a crowd of also influential people who might be able to rally change. So this might be something where they are trying to swat down potential threats before they get too carried away. And the threat, of course, with this is, well, the charges we may throw against you are bogus. They don't actually have a leg to stand on regarding a case, but they will put you through misery. Before you ever see the inside of a courtroom, or before you're even actually charged with anything, or before the CPS puts forward any official charges that the Crown will be putting against you, you will be put through misery, you will have your life inconvenienced, you'll be put in a cell, you'll be triggered into an autistic meltdown because he has a variant of Tourette's, according to Pete North, which means that he could have had a heart attack because of the way his blood pressure and heart rate was spiking. You will be made miserable. And that's if we don't actually charge you anyway. So the process being the punishment is the threat. Do not mess with us, or we will put you through this, even if we don't have a legitimate reason to do so. He goes on, saying they could have invited me in for a daytime interview, but no, they decided to dispatch 2 officers at night to drive into North Yorkshire to drag me to Harrogate, which is nearly an hour away, for a meme. And what was it that they asked him in the interview? Well, he says that one of the questions was, do you know who Tommy Robinson is? What a ridiculous question. I think everybody in this country knows who Tommy Robinson is. Followed by, are you aware that he was the first person to post this meme? Which I don't even know if that's true. Besides, that's not how memes work. Besides, it's not illegal to repost memes that Tommy Robinson posts. There's nowhere in the laws that says you are not allowed to repost Tommy Robinson memes. That's a ridiculous standard. So clearly, this was a threat. This was an intimidation. This was a form of torture to scare Pete. But I believe that he will be taking his case forward, potentially with the aid of the Free Speech Union, who are not a perfect organisation when it came to cases like Sam Mellier, who was arrested and put in prison for a sticker campaign. They did not come to his aid. And the likelihood is, given the political differences, the Free Speech Organisation tries to remain centrist and therefore is very milquetoast on a lot of issues. They'll go out of their way to support TERFs, but when it's people who are overtly and proudly ethno-nationalist like Pete North or Steve Laws, whatever you personally think of those views, they should be protected under free speech in the laws of this land. They do not tend to help them very much, but I can only hope that the Free Speech Union will actually put forward some help for both of them, because Pete has gone on to say here, he wrote up a Substack post about it, going into detail of his experiences here. That on the 21st of December, it's the 21st of December, Pete, not December 21st. We're English. We don't apply. We don't have we don't write the laws the same way the dates the same way the Americans do. On the 21st of December, he must report to Harrogate Police Station to determine whether the CPS will press charges. So they're not even pressed charges yet. Someone reported his tweet as being incitement to racial hatred. And if you watch the video, it stated that, our hate crime unit took a look through it and found that you might have been inciting racial hatred. But they've not actually charged him with anything as of yet. So they put him through all of this misery at a late time of night when he's clearly suffering, clearly going through a terrible episode, and they've not even pressed charges with him. So he says we'll see how this goes, but I really, really do hope that that these guys can get through this and that they can share their experiences and be able to spread word that this is how the government will treat you if you are a dissident, because these are not the only people, because traditional Britain also mentioned that Katie Hopkins, I believe, is referring to, was arrested for referring to herself as a spaz on her Instagram Live. Steve Law's arrested for posting who knows what and when, because we don't know the details of that yet. A man in Greater Manchester was called and friendly threatened with arrest for posting the letter N as a reply to a post. And Pete North has been arrested for a tweet about Palestine, Hamas, and the protests. And this is in the shadows. Hundreds of others will have also experienced the same. People who don't have the same social media clout to be able to put their stories out there and broadcast them. People who maybe they did, and simply because they're not big public profiles, nobody paid that much attention to them. This is something the people of this country have to worry about every single day. And I do always advise people, when you're posting on social media, be careful, but that's advice that I should probably best take sometimes as well, because I have been known to be quite spicy on my own Twitter account quite often. And so that's just one of the examples of the chilling effect that these situations put on people. And Adam Wren points out, again, I know it's hypocrisy, doesn't do much to point it out, but it is still the truth that this is a two-tiered society when there are videos of women and many other people directly calling for people to be killed. And in this case, Kent police say, there's no case, no caution, who cares? But a meme gets you harassed and bullied by a police force in the dead of night. It is absolutely ridiculous, and I can only say, Pete and Steve and anybody else affected, you have my support as you're going through these times, and I can really hope that you come out of the other side with some form of justice, because this isn't what justice looks like to me.